Greetings, Evans. Experiences are of many kind that we have in our spiritual practices. All kind of experiences happen, especially in the path of meditation. When we turn internal, we have different glimpses, visions, sounds, feelings. All these things do happen during meditation or even before and after meditation. I mean, the other time when we are not in meditation also. How important is all this? Absolutely not important, because these are outcomes of certain kriyas that happen in your systems, and the outcome of how karma works out itself, the impression releases itself, or something is being given some energy and it manifests and plays itself out. It's like, all these desires and so many things are held within us, so many kind of impressions. So when the energy enters into our systems, they play its work out, and there can be many effects that we have. Even the kundalini symptoms and all, it's called. So many symptoms are there, and not one person's experience will match with the other person. There are no two identical people who will have similar experiences, and that is why it is no use of talking of those experiences, because even if somebody listens to it, there is no benefit to the other. Because, and what can happen is, one person can expect that to happen to themselves, so they will listen to somebody else's experience and then hope for that, or they might even conclude that if I do not have that experience, nothing is happening to me. So that is coming from the myth that if there is a lot of experience, or if there is a lot of kriyas happening in the body, that means meditation is working on you. Not necessarily. Meditation can work on you even in the most perfect stillness and calm also. It all depends on what we have stored. So it is very difficult to explain everything, and not we cannot generalize it. Even we cannot individualize it. It's all different. It's very, very different. So it's not really important. All the great mystics that I've come across in this life have advised and suggested not to give it too much of attention. My Gurudev also, my master also, used to always say, never encourage kriyas, not discourage kriyas. Don't go to encourage them, not discourage them. Then what to do? Just witness it. He would always say, witness it. You are just a mere witness to all that is happening. You are not going to jump into that experience and try to be that experience, or try to judge that experience and form an opinion or a conclusion or a judgment on it. Because these are all kriyas of cosmic intelligence, and we cannot be in match with that. We cannot accurately decipher what is exactly happening in our systems. So it is pointless to go in that direction. So whenever you have all these experiences, just be a witness of it. Just be a mere witness of it. Neither be too sad about it, nor be too proud about it. There is nothing to be in both these cases. Just be neutral about it. Then that will help. And regarding one experience, one example that I want to give, even the biggest of experience that you, what can be the biggest of experience? Like I've read and seen, and even I have had my personal experience. Even still, I have a lot of experiences. I never talk about what's happening within me. I saw this, or this happened, or I met this one. That all these things happen, but it should not be given too much weight. Why I don't talk about it? Because then people should not go and hallucinate about it, think about it. That's in the wrong direction. We don't need it, so we don't give any weightage to it. Now, what can be the best experience that anybody has? I mean, I've read about mistakes where actually the masters, like I told you about one lineage where I went to Devas in Madhya Pradesh, and there was this ashram where I had read so much about, and this great mystic who used to be in his room, small cottage in a hut, and then present, physically, his guru used to present himself, manifest. And they used to have long discussions, and this used to happen very frequently. We have heard even in the autobiography where the guru actually physically manifests. Physically, it can, and there are so many cases where people have said that. I'll tell you about one such example where I used to give a lot of weightage to all this, because it was a great thing to have this. So I was fascinated all the time. And that fascination took me even to Devas, and it manifested, and I could even sit in that mystic's room because that Mahatma allowed me to, one who was looking after that. His Shishyas, his Shishya's Shishya, I believe, or yeah, his Shishya's Shishya. Anyways, what I'm trying to tell is, when I came in touch with Bhagwan's literature in Tirunamalai and I was reading and contemplating, I saw one incident where he mentions about many such mystical experiences to people. When people come to him, I saw this, I saw that. So he used to always direct, that's not real, you go within, because it's what is in your vision is not real. I could understand that. Okay, what is in the vision is not real because you could be hallucinating. But then I read about, he said, I was spellbound when I went to this Mahatma who was sitting in a loincloth almost nude, and I went for his blessings, to take his blessings. And when he went to Ramana and introduced himself and so, and he told that, he is having visions of Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, appearing to him. So he was expressing this to Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, and Bhagavan was just quiet and still, as usual. So he was expounding his experience because that was not a vision of Krishna. He said, when I was young, Krishna used to come and play with me. Physically, he used to manifest and he'd play. So he is telling Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi. And Bhagavan just says one thing. Do you see him now? So he says, no. Then Bhagavan Ramana tells him, not exactly in the same word, but somewhat similar. He says, what appears will also disappear. And what appears and disappears is not real. Because it is changing. It is ever changing. Anything that changes is not real. What I often say is that it is anitya. But anything that does not change at all and remains as it is and is forever there, without a birth or a death, without a start or an end, is that which is real. So he admonished actually that experience, which probably he was feeling so happy about, to share that Sri Krishna himself comes. But he just pushed it away very calmly, saying that it's not real. So to that extent, I'm telling, where physical manifestations have been reported by great masters or even the god avatars, that also was considered as false, because that is just an outcome of the mind, again he says. So Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi's teachings are all on the mind. He says, till you have the mind, you will have all these experiences. So the Maya, the illusions, everything comes into being only when there is a mind. Bhagavan Nityananda also says this in Chidakasha Gita, that mind is the cause of everything. The whole Chidakasha Gita, if you say, is to destroy the mind. Bhagavan is asking to destroy the mind. Because when the mind is destroyed, it's moksha. This is what even Chinmayananda Swami, yesterday only I read his quote, he said, if the mind is dissolved, it's moksha. And this is exactly what Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi also says, that the mind is the culprit of everything and the mind has to dissolve. The moment the mind dissolves, then there is nothing left but that pure consciousness, that pervading eternal consciousness, which is this real essence, and that is the real God consciousness, and that is the real element which is always existing, never with a start, never with an end. It was always there, and we are just a reflection, a small reflection. And the moment you realize that self, when do you realize the self? When the mind is completely dissolved, automatically he says it's a process where you can't stop it. Then nothing, you are left with nothing but you experience yourself. You experience yourself. So Bhagavan always admonished this idea that self-realization is something to be realized and something to be achieved by this and that. He says you are already realized. Only there is a layer around you of ignorance, which is in the form of this mind, where all this activity takes place. So the moment the mind dissolves, you experience what you are. It's as simple as that, he says. For that, you'll have to place your consciousness in the soul consciousness and not in the mind consciousness, which is what specifically I had made a video, and which is all shifting into awareness is all about, to not be in the ego consciousness, but to shift that consciousness and stay centered in the awareness which is on the soul, on the self. So with this, I take your leave. I hope this has been helpful to you. Much divine love and light to you. Stay blessed.